Hello, my name is Rebecca, and today I'm going to be talking about a number of different selection tools used to help choose nonfiction materials for a public library. One of the things about selecting materials for a nonfiction collection is that there are so many different tools available, and it is often difficult to narrow down the most useful ones. It is also true that there are some different ways of approaching the selection process. Your first job as a selection manager is to understand the needs and interests of your patron. If you are new to a collection, that is not always easy, but is a good starting point is for you to read your library's collection development policy. The next step is time-consuming, but will certainly allow you to better understand your patron needs in a particular subject area. This important step is weeding through your collection. When you're familiar with what circulates and what does not, you will truly have a better idea of your patron interests. But this is just a brief overview of that because we're talking about selection tools today. So today, in order to make the search process feel real as we go through this presentation, we are going to pretend that we are selecting for Dewey number 520 through 549, which is natural sciences, in order to narrow our search. Since nonfiction is such a large part of the library, narrowing it down just makes it a little bit more comprehensible. So the process that we will use for 520 to 549 can actually be applied to any nonfiction subject area. So one of the other interesting things about these databases is that they can be used in tandem with one another. For instance, you may hear about a book from one source and then go ahead and look it up in another. There are a lot of different types of tools, and I decided not to separate them into reviews, lists, or anything like that, because they serve multiple purposes oftentimes. So we're going to start by reviewing the formats of tools we will discuss. In this presentation, I will mainly discuss professional tools. However, I will also review a few public sources that can be used that oftentimes be helpful to librarians. Some professional tools are online only, some are offered in multiple formats, online and print, and then some are only offered in print. Because we have many different tools to go through, I'm just going to briefly show some key features of each. Once more, we are pretending to be a nonfiction collection management librarian, searching for books between Dewey number 520 through 549. So the first set of tools we're going through are online only, and we're going to books and authors first. Now, Books and Authors is a professional subscription-based database for librarians. It's part of Gale Cengage Learning, but really anyone can actually log into it. So we're going to come over here to Science and go to Astronomy, which is in our 520 to 549. We're going to find a book with our list. Here we go. We have about the book, so there's a description about the book. About the author, we can read about the author, see what other writings they've written, see how helpful that could be for us. And then here's the book reviews, what is something that is really helpful because we have library journal, so they're professional book reviews. Going through here and looking at these. Okay. You can also browse titles, authors, genres, everything like that. You can narrow it down from A to Z. So if you know of a particular author in your subject area, if you know, you can, what we did by genres, if you know of a title of something and you wanted to take a look at it, you can just type it in, or if you weren't 100% sure, you can search for it as well. So our next online-only professional tool is Novelist Plus. Now, despite its name, Novelist has reviews and information about nonfiction materials as well as fiction. So I wouldn't prize this necessarily as the best tool for finding nonfiction materials, but it can still be useful. So it's categorized on the left sidebar, down here, nonfiction. We're going to go over here to Science and Nature Writing, Scientific Discoveries. And this is just if we're browsing for new things. Of course, you can always search in the title. Then you're going to come right over here. You can organize it by date newest, date popularity, see what's popular. Go ahead and click on something. There are professional reviews again. There's the Dewey number. I guess there could be information about the author. ISBN, which I'm going to grab that because we're going to go ahead and use it later. Subject headings, so you can actually click on one of these and find something similar to this book if that's what you were searching for. We're going to come back up here and go to Dewey numbers. You can actually physically organize by Dewey numbers, which is really cool. So we're just going to do 530 because that's in our range. And if you come down here, go to physics. And here you have some other books. You can organize by date newest and then find yourself new books, find popular books, everything like that. So that's pretty helpful too. So the final online only tool is OCLC First Search. And unfortunately, it keeps signing out. Hold on just one minute. Sorry, unfortunately, that doesn't allow me to stay logged in for more than just a minute, or a few minutes at a time. So, OCLC First Search is not a review site, but it is a statewide Illinois library catalog. It has some basic information, but the main reason I chose it was that it lists other librarians in the state and the world that have one item. So if no one else has an item, it might be interesting to add to the collection. However, it might also be a hint that this item is not worth purchase or may warrant further research. Clearly, if this item was not available in my collection, let's see what item this is. I would see if I needed it. But of course, you could check your ILS first for that, and then come on here. So we can see right here, there are thousands in Illinois alone, it looks like. So if this wasn't available at my library, which it is, I would certainly purchase it at this point because there's so many. So that's not really a review, but it's just kind of to gauge, giving yourself an idea of whether or not you should purchase it. Moving along to professional tools, online and print, we have Publishers Weekly and Baker and Taylor. Now, Publishers Weekly. Okay, so the most helpful thing about Publishers Weekly with both the catalog and the website, to me at least, are its bestseller lists. I think the website is not particularly intuitive to use, and I actually prefer the catalog in this case between the two. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm just going to show you. It has a bestseller list, which can be helpful, not specifically for one subject area. That's where it gets a little hazy. But they do have nonfiction bestsellers, so you can kind of look at these and see, do I have this in my library? If you don't, you probably should, because people probably want it. So that's really all I have to show you from that, because the rest is just not, I mean, there's reviews, nonfiction reviews, but they're not organized really in any specific way. I mean, they are newer, which can also be helpful. You can go through those, but I might not use that if I was looking for something in a particular subject area. So, Publishers Weekly, let's see. Back to the catalog itself. Right over here, it has general nonfiction and lifestyle. So their nonfiction section in their catalog is also not very organized. They do have their bestseller list, the hardcover nonfiction bestseller list, which is helpful for sure. And then they have nonfiction section, but it's not really organized by subject or anything like that. So that's just maybe something to browse. That's what I think really of this Publishers Weekly. Moving along to the next tool, Baker and Taylor / Forecast. Forecast is one of their catalogs. So going to Baker and Taylor. Unfortunately, Baker and Taylor doesn't allow me to open it up either. So I have to find it. Okay, here's Baker and Taylor. So Baker and Taylor is probably one of the most useful tools that a librarian can use for collection development, in my opinion. Not only is there an extensive filter and search sidebar, which the search sidebar, we could get into it, but it would take forever. It's really cool, but there's just too much involved with it. But there's also selection lists. And one of the cool things about selection lists is it's kind of like a mini online catalog type of thing where you can pick and choose through. And I'm looking for pub. One moment, sorry. Not scope. Looking for pub forecast. There it is. I'm going to the February issue. Adult hardcover nonfiction, going straight there. And then one of the really cool things that you can do here is you can order it by date, title, author, artist, price, publisher, Dewey, and Library Congress class. And I love organizing by Dewey, especially in this case. So Dewey by title, which is great. So then it's already been organized that way. So we're looking for the 500s once again. So I'm just going to go in and hit 530 and, oops, sorry, not the page. No, I'm going to look for something around 530. 300s, 570. So here we have, okay, something in 537. Come down over here and see what they have available on this. They have reviews. Again, these are professional reviews, which is really great and very helpful. And it's just the narrowing process and using Baker and Taylor is really great. Plus, you can purchase it right off of Baker and Taylor, and it offers things like the ISBN, the publish date, Dewey number, and Library of Congress number, as well as some other things such as BISAC subjects. So, moving back to the PowerPoint. Forecast, Baker and Taylor's counterpart. Forecast is not quite as advanced as far as sorting items, but it does organize by hardcover, nonfiction, trade paperback nonfiction. So the user can use the table of contents to find the section, and then it further breaks it down once you get into the actual catalog by subject. So here I found science, and I blew up one of the books that they were reviewing, and so it's kind of a short review. The ISBN and price are listed, also the month it was released. Not much else involved in there, but it is helpful because it does break it down by subject, which I think is really important. Moving along, professional tools in print only. So we have Ingram and Public Library Core Collection. So Ingram is a print resource that specializes in new nonfiction materials. There is a fiction section, but as you can see, the nonfiction is sorted by subject. So it's more prominent. We will be looking at science, which is page 61, as you can see it right here. It's going on there and blowing up another one of the books in science. As you can see, it doesn't offer a real review, but more of just a summary. So it has the ISBN, the price, and page numbers are offered, as well as a photo of the item. I think this is a good tool to help librarians find out what new items are going to be available soon. However, unless it's something that they know will circulate, say that it's a popular author or has to do with a really hot topic, they should do some more research before deciding to purchase this item for their library. Just as more, hey, here's what's new. So moving along to the next one, we have Public Library Core Collection Nonfiction. And this is a 2,000 plus page print resource, and it's owned by EBSCOhost and developed by collection development specialists who combine the most highly recommended nonfiction and reference materials for adults. So despite the size of this resource, it is actually really easy to use, and it can be used for both selection and reading, among other things with collection development. So the back of the book is organized by subject, author, or title, but the main part of the book is organized by Dewey classification, which is likely most helpful for librarians. So we can either go through the book and look for our Dewey number 520 through 549, which is all going to be right with each other, or we can go to the back and search by a specific subject. So here we see the subject Space and Time, which has multiple authors, So let's say you recognize this author, J.R. Gott, and you wanted some more information about this book that he's released. So you would flip to Dewey 530.11. I don't know what happened to my brother. Sorry. And here's a short synopsis. So remember, this doesn't have to be long like a review, as all these materials are highly recommended by collection development specialists. There is a little review from Booklist, but it doesn't have to be huge. So here's the price, the Dewey number, and the ISBN. You can also search by author at the back of the book. And here we have Michio Kaku, which is a very well-known physicist. And then you see his book is in, one of the books that he has is in 523.1, so you're going to go ahead and flip to that, and it's the same thing with the little review, the little synopsis, and then that bit of information. So that's really helpful. The final tools that we're going to be looking at today are public resources. So they're available to the general public, but can still be very helpful to a librarian with selection development. The reason I included them in this presentation is that each of them includes both a professional and public reviews. So in order to kind of keep yourself in touch with what the public interests are, it is interesting to look at customer reviews as well. So Amazon is a resource that everyone recognizes. However, even though there are customer reviews, there are also professional reviews available for everyone to read. One of the other helpful tools that Amazon provides, go to books, right here, and then you can narrow by subject, science and math, and there's over 1 million, so there's a lot of them. And then you can kind of even narrow it further, astronomy and space. And then with that, this is automatically bestsellers, updated hourly, so it's very up to date. And then we're just going to go to this new book by Max Tegmark. You see here, there is a description. And then come down here are the details, the page number, language, etc. Ranking, which is pretty good. The editorial reviews, which there are a bunch, and then customer reviews below that. So it's a really, really all-inclusive resource, I think, at some points. And then they also have, they have bestsellers and new releases and everything like that. So that's really helpful. The last source we're going to be looking at today, some public resources, is Barnes & Noble, which is similar. So we're going to come over here to books, organized by subject once again. Come straight down here to, where's that? Science and Nature. And then you can further narrow down to astronomy. And then we can organize by best-selling once again, newest to oldest if we're looking for something new. And we're going to go ahead and click on this new book. See when it, see more details, overview, editorial reviews. It just came out about a month ago. Sales rank, meet the author, excerpt of the book, and table of contents. Along with, there aren't any customer reviews yet, but there will be in time, and there can be. So, here, let's see if we can find something with customer reviews. It's taking a long time. Okay. So, customer reviews, here they are. And so you get to kind of read both. So, to conclude this presentation, I would just like to once again mention, as we discussed at the beginning, that selection is just one of the processes of collection management, and the best thing that you can do first is have knowledge of your community interests. Also, remember that these items can often be used simultaneously with one another. When you find an item that you think will go well with your library, there are a number of different things you might do while consulting these selection tools, such as looking in the area and seeing how well these items circulate that are related to it, and consulting colleagues. So nonfiction really covers a large section of the library, and while some of these tools are more helpful than others in certain areas, they all kind of bring something that you might find useful in some time or another to the selection process. Thank you.